Hello, you are watching Middle East Matters on Around the World today, and we're taking a deep dive into Syria. In the past 13 months since President Bashar al-Assad was toppled, we have spoken extensively here on France 24 about the huge challenges facing the new government and the divisions between different sectarian and ethnic groups, the Alawites, the Kurds, the Druze. But one aspect of this complex mosaic that's received less attention is the tensions within the biggest group itself, that of the Sunni Muslim majority. And it is that we'll be talking about on our programme today with Wassim Nasr, our terrorism expert who travelled to Syria last month on something of a road trip, taking in the newly liberated Damascus, Idlib, Hama and Aleppo. He's with us now to discuss what he saw and what he learned about this new government led by the former jihadist Ahmad al-Sharaa. Now, Wassim, you argue that it is this Sunni majority that I talked about that holds the keys to stability in this new Syria. And you say that, look, aware of those stakes, the government in September last year set up something that is called in English the Tribes and Clans Office. It's headed up by this individual who's called Jihad Isa al-Sheikh. He's a former associate of al-Sharaa. This was back in his days where he worked with the Nusra Front. So they go way back together, these two men. You gained rare access. You travelled with him quite a bit on your trip. And you were able to see with him up close how he's trying to work with different Sunni communities, bridging the divide. So take us on your trip then, and let's start in the north of Syria. Let's start in Aleppo, second biggest city in Syria. And there, this office I mentioned, the Tribes and Clans Office, is working hard to try and reconcile people who used to be supporters of the Syrian regime and former rebels. Just tell us a bit then about what you saw there.
Well, actually, I started my trip in Aleppo because what is not very known, actually, is that Jihad al-Sheikh that we were talking about, he belongs to a tribe called al-Bakkara. And from this tribe of al-Bakkara, there is a group called Liwa al-Baqir. We're going to see his neighborhood. I had access to the neighborhood of Liwa al-Baqir, which is a Sunni group, but who was funded by the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and this group was backing Assad since day one. The source of this issue is that one of the heads of the Mir'i family, which belongs to this clan, was killed by the rebels at the time, and his body was exposed to the public for many days. And so because of this vendetta issue, his family, the Mir'i family, decided to join Assad. And then they stuck to him till 2024. And what's interesting is that Jihad al-Sheikh convinced the head of the Mir'i family to switch sides.
At the very end.
Just at November 2024, he succeeded, but it took him 2 years to convince him. So when the front west of Aleppo fell militarily through military effort of HTS and other factions, the members of the Liwa al-Baqir, the Baqir Brigade in Aleppo, didn't put up arms. And actually, we learned later, and just to keep in mind, they belong to the same tribe as this Jihad al-Sheikh. They harbored even an HTS commando that attacked centers of command and control in the area, and this is their guest house of the Liwa al-Baqir that we see here on footage. It's really exclusive material that we have here. Like Qasim Soleimani, the head of the Quds force, used to preach in this place. You see. So I get access to members of the family there. I was told that they harbored an HTS commando. They even harbored the brother of Jihad al-Sheikh, Abu Omar, which monitored the area before HTS attack. And here we see that they still have their horses. And why is it important, Nadia? Because you know that horses are a sign of power and richness in Arab tribes. So they cut a deal, actually, with the new authorities. They can keep what they have, but they have
horses.
Exactly, and even a little bit of power, but in return they have to give back to others who are displaced to Idlib from the same neighborhood. They have to give them back their apartment and their homes, etc., etc. So, and this is not quite understood by everybody. We dived in the Salihin neighborhood, very poor neighborhood, called in an area called Bab al-Nayrab, even before the war. Very harsh neighborhood, very poor neighborhood, and it's from this neighborhood that fighters on both sides went. And here you can see how much destroyed it is because since Assad took back Aleppo, meaning in 2016, he did not do nothing for those people, even those who were supporting him, which in a way explains also why they decided to switch side at the last moment. And I witnessed a kind of reconciliation, because people who went back from Idlib, you still have frictions with people on the ground who were supported Assad or at least stayed under Assad's rule. And many people do not understand why they are not being taken into custody, why they are not being arrested. And even I witnessed the release of Syrian military, the new army actually, who shot at the homes of former regime supporters, and he was imprisoned for 10 days. So I witnessed in the police station how he was liberated after 10 days under custody, and they told him, okay, you can go free, but you shouldn't do this again. So it wasn't even handled by the justice system. So here you see the importance of tribes and clans and the guarantees that they can give in order to keep a peaceful situation in this very, very poor neighborhoods that we are seeing here. And there were never, not a penny, was put by Assad in these neighborhoods since 2016.
All right, well, take us, Wassim, from Aleppo to the capital, to Damascus. Now there, on your trip, you were able to join in a meeting with this key figure who I talked about when we're talking about reconciliation between Sunni tribes, that individual I mentioned, Jihad Isa al-Sheikh. Tell us about this meeting you attended. What was so significant about it?
Actually, this meeting it was happening because the head of the council of the tribes was coming back from Umrah. Maybe you see the footage. This is the footage where I was going to Damascus, and it is interesting, even if it's a few seconds, that when I was there a year ago, when I was there this summer, nothing was done yet. Still,
no progress.
No progress. Reconstruction is made on individual basis. The money is not flowing into the country yet. So at this meeting that we're going to see, the head of the council of the tribes was coming back from the Umrah in Saudi Arabia. So it was an opportunity to have everybody there, and here you see, and Jihad al-Sheikh as a representative or the advisor of the Syrian presidency to speak out to all the head of the tribes of Syria at the same time without them feeling that they are like forced to listen to him. So it's like really political moment there, and you see me on the footage actually. And actually there was three main messages. He was telling them that the new office is not here to replace them, meaning you're going to keep what you have as prestige or power. We're not here to replace you. On the other hand, he was explaining what we were just talking about, how they pardoned, or the deal that was done with the Bashar, the member of his clan in Aleppo, meaning because many of those people still supported Assad at one point in time. And he was telling them, those who supported Assad, who have blood on their hands, have to make a step back and put other people in front. We need all of you. And he talked about something very interesting about corruption. He was like, you'll have a place, you'll have a space, but send us people who are able, who send us doctors, send us people who have some education in order to fill the gaps, either in the parliament or either in the administrations of the state. And we see people, for example, talking about what happened in Suwaida, the massacres, the attacks, and we had the head of the operations of the Syrian military here who was sitting there, and he was like, we had advanced on the ground, but behind us, we had looters and killers. And it caused us many problems.
You talk about in Suwaida in the south.
Exactly, Suwaida and south, regarding the Druze community. So they were admitting and criticizing the tribes who let this happen.
Okay. Good. Let's go then from Damascus to Homs, central Syria. And it was there that you say you witnessed a real-time test of this clan tribal office and their efforts on reconciliation. What did you see?
Well, actually, at the time, there was a murder of two people from the Bedouin community, the Sunni Bedouin community, and it was like people thought it was like a sectarian crime done by the Shia. And we listened to Jihad al-Sheikh, what he said at this moment.
صراحة لازم ننظر للموضوع بنظرة كبيرة جدا أكبر من إنه ثأر وانتقام. البلد يحتاج صراحة منا أن نضحي ونقدم ما نستطيع من أجل بناء هذا البلد. فأرجو من الجميع يعني إخواننا القبائل العشائر الموجودين واللي مو موجود إن شاء الله نوصل له صوتنا أن يكون هناك صبر، يكون تحمل ومسؤولية صراحة لبناء هذا البلد. هاي الفورة وهي طريقة الفورة هاي مو صحيحة يا إخواني. احنا صح القبائل حامين وعنا نخوة وعنا، لكن دائما أنت الكبير لازم تنظر شو هاي المسائل وين راح توصلنا لأي مكان. صراحة احنا ما بدنا سوريا مقسمة.
And what is he talking about actually, Nadia?
Yeah.
Because at this moment, we didn't know yet what were the murders about. And in between, Sunni youngsters from the Bedouin communities attacked the Alawite neighborhoods of Homs. So he went there, he stayed for 3 days, and he told people, calm down. We will wait and see what are those murders about. Are they really sectarian or not? And at the end of the day, we understood it was a member of the family who killed both the man and the woman to rob them, actually. There was nothing sectarian about it.
Okay.
So it was really the first test for this office to see would he be able to calm down people and avoid what happened on the coast with the Alawites and in Suwaida and even in the outskirts of Damascus with the Druze community a few months ago.
All right, well, let's go now to Idlib. This is used to be the stronghold of the rebels of al-Sharaa before Bashar al-Assad was overthrown. Idlib today has significant challenges when it comes to reconciling Sunni communities. Explain to us why that is.
Well, actually, because all the problems of Syria are concentrated also in Idlib. Many displaced people went back to the homes, except the people who were displaced from the northeast, meaning the areas which are still controlled by the Syrian Democratic Forces under Kurdish leadership. Those people who were also the backbone of HTS are demanding to go back to their homes. And why? Because I understood, for example, that they were occupying homes of Kurdish people in Afrin, so in the area of Idlib. HTS, or the new government, asked them to leave those homes and give them back to the Kurdish community, and now they are living also back in those tents and camps that we are seeing. And so they are demanding Damascus, we want to go back home. We want to go back to the northeast, and this is the biggest problem because negotiations are still ongoing with the Syrian Democratic Forces. We had the clashes in Aleppo, and it's also an important issue for the tribes, for the clans, and for Damascus because the core of the Syrian Democratic Forces are still Arab from those areas. And also because, for example, in the latest battles in Aleppo, the same tribe, the Baggara tribe, succeeded in taking out the Arab factor from the hands of the YPG in Ashrafiyeh, in the Aleppo, which made it fall very fast. So also they are planning to make Arab elements in the ranks of the Syrian Democratic Forces leave those ranks before the battle, actually.
Okay. Just zoom out for us finally, Wassim. If you look back on your trip, you know, I said in your analysis, actually the key to the stability of future, to the safety of this country is keeping Sunni communities relatively together, not too divided. Do you think these efforts by the government to that end, are they working now?
Well, they are ongoing.
Yeah.
We saw, for example, that the number of murders went down, murders of former regime members, actually, for example, 0 murders in Aleppo, knowing that the city witnessed more than 100 murders since the beginning of the, since the fall of Assad. And on the other hand, we have to remember also that if the Sunni majority is reassured about its situation, it will definitely have a good impact on other communities, either religious communities or ethnic communities. So they are trying to make things hold on, but you have to remember also that we are talking about very small crews. Very small crews. We had pictures that we didn't see earlier of the crew, for example, the security crew of Aleppo. Maybe we can see them. It was in the part of Aleppo and so I saw myself that people who are handling the negotiation with the Kurdish counterparts are also handling problems inside families, are also handling security problems in Aleppo, and they also, for example, prevented an attack on a church in Aleppo. Here we see them and we see them negotiating with their Kurdish counterparts, Sipan Hamu, who was handling the situation in Aleppo, and here they are also in Aleppo. So it is a very small crew, people who know each other from Idlib, who are originally from Aleppo, that are handling everything. So this is human resources is a huge problem for them as we speak, and we'll see with time if they were able to build trust with other communities, but necessarily and mostly inside the Sunni community.
All right, such an important but complex story. Thank you very much indeed for coming in to tell us about your long reporting in Syria. Wassim Nasr for us there.